My name is Jackie Langworthy. I am the owner of a Dream Education, and we actually own a franchise, Kumon of Crofton. And I've been doing this for, it'll be 14 years in July of this year. So 14 years I've been the owner and operator of the Kumon of Crofton, where we educate students ages pre-K all the way up through high school. Before Lifehack Tribe, I was in a space of being stuck, and I will use that word because that was exactly what it was. And I saw the video and I felt like this was going to be my option of being able to get me unstuck. So I was just kind of stuck in a rut of it was around the middle of the pandemic. And we had just come out of the pandemic, and I was trying to get back to that person that I was before the pandemic. I was running marathons and I was extremely productive and focused. And I did have a death with my father during the pandemic. And I think that's what got me into this space of just being stuck, which was very much real and okay. But I knew I wanted to get out of like that place of just not really progressing and moving forward because I knew there was a version of me that wasn't that person. After joining Lifehack Tribe, it took me a little bit to get into the process of things. I would say, I think I remember being a little overwhelmed in the beginning because there were so many things with a life map. And, it seemed like I was surrounded by all these people that just had it together. But after I had kind of realized that one, perfectionism doesn't exist. And that was something that was kind of definitely taught to me by the coaches that were there, and that, each day we progress and we get better, planning my days, identifying what it is that I wanted to do. And then once I got comfortable with just that piece, and I really started going deeper into the courses and the material that was out there, I did create my first life map. And that was like a game changer for me to see, wow, at the end of the year, and I looked back, I was like, I'm actually really accomplishing these goals. And now I'm in this space. And I remember being super ambitious when I started, and my coach saying, slow down, take it bit by bit. You'll eventually get there. And even I think Demir one day said, it takes some time to get to where I'm at. I guess, look here, young grasshopper, you'll eventually get there. And I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel of me getting there. I'm not still never perfect because perfection doesn't exist, but I'm getting better, being able to see that I'm becoming more productive. And as I said, I wanted to be that old version of myself. She's 10 times better. I'm not running marathons anymore just because I just have chosen that that's not necessarily the best thing for me. I still will finish my 50 states. I have 25 left to go, but I am showing up better for me as an individual. I have more clarity of who I am and my purpose and what it matters most to me, as well as I'm showing up better for my children and for my business and even for my family and my friends. So that's definitely what the tribe has been able to give me, along with the accountability. It is a tribe, and we have that group of people that are here to support you and show you that, you can do this. And then also just from inspiration and motivation, you see people doing things that you want to accomplish and achieve, and you know that it's achievable and it's attainable because they've been able to do it. The biggest impact that I've gotten out of being a tribe member is that now I just have my son just graduated from high school, and he's actually at college. He left much quicker than I anticipated, and I have his sister who's right behind him. But during this time, what I realized that was most important is that I took the whole month of May, and this was part of my life map. I took the whole month of May to focus on just his graduation and to be present, focused, and engaged during that time. And I absolutely was. And there is nothing that can make me think that I missed out on anything. Even if there were some work things that I had to push forward, that time will never be recreated. And so to identify it early and to protect it was probably the biggest impact that I could have on my life. And so that I know, like now when I move forward and I make choices to spend time with my daughter, to, work out with her in the afternoon together, just the time that I'm being able to spend with her is so important to me. And I think before I used to be more concerned about checking items off the box that wasn't really important. So I think the tribe has definitely helped me realize that really for me, the biggest impact is that my time with my family is the most important thing and it's most sacred. And it's allowed me to find time for them and to prioritize them, as well as prioritizing time for myself, having evening routines and morning routines that I can ground myself and be still and pause and understand like what's really impactful and to realize that I've come to this place to understand that what's most impactful is just my family and making that time for them. And I think that's huge. It's better than any accomplishment that I could actually have on a piece of paper or up on a wall saying that I've achieved is to say that, I had these quality moments with my children, with my friends, and with my family that's going to last a lifetime, and that's the true legacy for me. I actually signed up for the boot camp, and in the boot camp, you get an opportunity to interact with Coach Demir. For me, I think the best piece of it is that he really listens to what we're going through. And you can actually see like the wheels turning in his head as he's like listening to your problem and he's analyzing it. And he will throw out things and he'll tell you, does this resonate with you or not? And sometimes he is spot on, which is a little scary. And sometimes he's not. And he'll say, okay. And we'll talk a little bit more and he'll ask really good questions to pull out the information that he's trying to understand. And really, it's almost like a coaching and a therapy session, but he's getting you to kind of get to these ahas. And for me, what was really great is what he identified for me that was key and pivotal is that I'm a finisher. And so I would work really hard and I couldn't stop because I had to finish. But once he kind of hit that aha for me, it opened up my view on who I am, and then also gave me an opportunity to say, is that really that important to me? Or how can I learn to stop and take advantage of the things that are more important, which is like my family or just my own self care? I work with students and I tell my team, you know that the student has got it when they go, so you're not telling them what to do. They have figured it out on their own. And that's what Coach Namer does is he kind of gets us to get to the hmm, which means that I got it. And I think that's probably been the most impactful piece of being able to have access. And you have access to Demir, not only just in boot camp, he shows up on the day, sometimes he'll host it or the one the week, or he'll pop in. And then he has his own talks where you get an opportunity to work with him, which is actually really good because he gives you that one-on-one coaching that only he can provide. And he is a big part of the tribe. He's always changing things. He's not necessarily looking at how he can monetize it, but more so how he can provide impact and support for the team. And I really love that about him. And that resonates with who I am and my own core values. Even, with him protecting his own time and space, if you really have a question or a concern, it gets to him and he will respond and he will get back to you. And I appreciate that a lot. And that's part of the reason why I am a faithful member of Lifehack Tribe. I love the fact that on the website, we have so much access to resources. And I'll be honest, I've been a member for like 2 years, and I probably have only skimmed the surface of like 30% of it. And most of it because I was in boot camp. And I'm so glad that I did the boot camp program because with boot camp, forced us to get our stuff together. So we had homework assignments and we had to be out there. And, that's what opened the door for me to see all the resources that are out there. And like I said, I did most of my boot camp assignment, but even on top of that, there's so much information and Carrie and Demir are constantly, and the team is just constantly updating, as things get outdated because especially with technology, they're constantly updating the resources for the group and for the members. And I really, appreciate that aspect of things. And then, you always have information that you can go back to. So I think sometimes people sign up for programs and, they give it to them for like 3 weeks and then they remove it. Once you purchase it or you're part of the tribe, there's so much information just being a part of the tribe that you get access to. But outside of that, when you participate in the additional offerings that they have, you get that information and it's yours to utilize and leverage and to use. So it's not, like I said, they really aren't about like monetizing and making sure that they're, it's a business, but, it's not about monetizing. It's really about what impact that we can have and how can we help our members. And I feel that all the time that when they're thinking about what they're going to provide, the first thing that they're thinking about is how is this going to help our members, not necessarily how is this going to put more money in our pocket.